two. Now, I was talking about the thing with this burger babies, and I'm referring to the profile of the lady with the scientist-looking lady in her profile picture. The one I mentioned in my previous video, and I noticed my profile, like, blocked and unblocked her, and I was wondering why. And then one of the people that I did follow, this lovely woman in a green dress, her. I found her video, it was interesting, and although her voice, in my opinion, is something to adjust to, I feel like it's pleasant in a way when she's talking about certain topics. And it was interesting that her profile was blocked along with Miss Burger Babies. And I was kind of stunned a little bit because I was wondering what was going on with that. And that shows me that someone else is making choices on my behalf, or maybe it's just a weird update. But it's really, let me choose a better song. But I find it interesting that there is a common denominator when tracking this. It's sort of Unicorn of War. So, Unicorn of War is a profile that I followed for a while and I really enjoyed some of their content. However, in certain aspects, I feel like they're very useful for things in daily life. But when I would listen to some of the reviews of things in TV shows, I kind of agreed, disagreed. But there were just some factors about main characters that kind of concerned me when it came to the character of the person criticizing them. And especially when they criticize Bloom. It seems like even though there are multiple difficulties for a main character, and there are a lot of things that they deal with that have nuances and subtlety to them, or just certain things that are just basic concepts that are just an underlying tone of living whatever type of existence you do, but in a way where you interact in that kind of social, that down to earth kind of way. And they seem to miss the point of that, and like they just want more during certain things. That their opinions kind of flip, and it kind of feels a little bit conflicting. Because you can have different opinions and not always be a contradiction. And when the main things that you talk about sort of clash, um, or with the idea of what you're expanding on, it doesn't seem necessarily seem to fit because of a building block of what you're sort of relaying, and what you think is missing from it, even if what you just said filled in that gap and explained what that is. And that's what I feel like happens sometimes, and that's why I gave that previous criticism of just sort of sometimes it kind of feels like they just want Bloom to go through things just because to make it interesting and missing the point of a few things. But I think maybe that because of sort of a helpful nudge every so often, that someone just kind of maybe wanted to probably try to, I wouldn't say try to help retain the volume, that's positive thinking. But realistically, um, it's more so of, it's clearly sort of a guided measure to where I wanted to take a break, but it just kind of, that profile just kind of reappeared, and I follow and follow and unfollow on my own. So I already noticed when it doesn't, and that's why I think that the Mizish or whatever profile was possibly a stalker that tried to insert themselves or gain a following in a certain way, because the content wasn't necessarily targeted, but it just aligned and it was always just right. And there was an interesting tone of almost um, not intimate observation, but something akin to studying the demographic but not really being it. But anyways, um, but there was just sort of this on and off thing with some profiles that I was following, and I didn't care for some of her content just out of personal preference. But um, when a profile appears in your following, and then you start losing of people that you're following from, then they're not following you back. It's just what you're following, what you're subscribed to. I'm losing channels that I'm subscribed to. That's something that I can't ignore. And that's that coincidence that when that pops up again, without me, getting interested in, maybe forgetting about how her page was, just stuff like that. And I noticed that, and that's why I pointed out that thing with Miss Burger Babies. But I'm gonna talk about it in the third video, because the TikTok thing is one thing, because the app is the app, but YouTube is a different story.
I can't go to jail. I'm too pretty. I won't last a day. I'll